Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing the North Carolina Courage versus the Portland Thorns FC game, which was the first game of the Utah Challenge Cup. I'll be going over the starting lineups, the gameplay and the highlights, and just my overall thoughts about both teams, and my thoughts about the individual players as well. As always, timestamps will be in the description below if you'd like to skip through the video. Without further ado, let's get started. The starting lineup for the North Carolina Courage was Stephanie LeBay, Abby Dahlkemper, Abby Urseg, Addison Merrick, Jaylene Daniels, Denise O'Sullivan, Sam Mewis, Debinha, Crystal Dunn, Lynn Williams, and Kristen Hamilton. Subs include Haley Mace, Lauren Millier, Carrie Rocchero, and Allie Watt. The only change to their normal roster is the addition of rookie Addison Merrick at the left back position in place for Heather O'Reilly, who retired last season. They play a 4-2-2-2 box formation, leaving room on the flanks for the outside backs to give forward, so they play a box midfield. The Portland Thorns FC starting lineup was Bella Bixby, Emily Mingus, Becky Sauerbrunn, Kelli Hubly, Megan Klingenberg, Angela Salem, Lindsey Horan, Rocky Rodriguez, Christine Sinclair, Tyler Lucy, and Marissa Everett. Subs include Celeste Bourret, Simone Charlie, Morgan Weaver, Kristen Westfall, and Madison Pogard. They made significant changes to their starting lineup compared to last season's lineups, and they played a 4-3-3 formation. Debinha plays a through ball to Lynn Williams, who her shot gets deflected by Emily Mingus and goes out for a corner kick. That was a great save by Bella Bixby. It was one of her first saves of the game. Debinha gets the ball here and decides to take a shot on the ground. It wasn't her best shot, but it was definitely a good way to test a keeper early on. And Williams gets the through ball again. Gets to Crystal Dunn, who just skies her shot. Megan Klingenberg plays a nice ball in the box to Lindsey Horan, who heads it on. She ended up being offsides, but that was a great opportunity from her. Lynn Williams again gets the ball. Let me know if you think that was a penalty kick. I'm going to need more angles from that, but based off of that, I don't think it is. Again, another corner for the Thorns. It was cleared by Jaylene Daniels. This was a breakaway moment. Lynn Williams does a great job of bodying off Becky Sauerbrunn, but her decision in the final third was completely off. She skies her shot 1v1. She needs to do much better with that. Clearly you can see here that Kelli Hubly gets caught too high up. Emily Mingus and Becky Sauerbrunn are the only ones left on defense, and when Becky gets beat, it's a 2v1, and I think Emily does the best she can here. I think Lynn should have passed it right there, but she ends up taking the shot anyway, and it goes over luckily for the Thorns. This was an opportunity from Kristen Hamilton. It just gets headed over the bar. This was Lindsey Horan taking on Addison Merrick 1v1. She does a great job of going in line, but Addison Merrick makes a great recovering tackle. This was a long ball over top to Lynn Williams. She'd been doing a great job of exposing the space in behind. She takes Emily Mingus 1v1, plays a nice cross in, but there was a poor clearance. She gets her shot off again, but Bella Bixby saves it. Lindsey Horan gets the ball from halfway, decides, you know what, I'm going to take it myself. I'm going to drive to the box. Let me know if you think this was a penalty kick. I think based off of when I was able to slow it down, it definitely doesn't look like Denise O'Sullivan gets any sort of touch on the ball because the ball doesn't change directions, but let me know what you think. Again, Lynn gets the ball again. Poor defending from Kelli Hubly, dives in, but the shot was just off. This is a free kick from Kling. Unfortunately, Christine Sinclair was offsides on her run. Another opportunity, Christine Sinclair wins the ball, plays it to Tyler Lucy, who I don't think she realized how much time she had, but she turns and takes her shot anyway. A great corner from the Courage, but Bella Bixby saves it. This is a rocket of a shot from Debinha, but again, right at Bella Bixby. Nice through ball to Allie Watt, who plays it in. Again, Bella Bixby saves it. Another opportunity for the Courage to go forward. She does a great job of pulling off the defender, and then 1-2. Cross was just a little bit off. I'm not going to speculate on this injury too much, but this reminded me a lot of the Jimmy Garoppolo injury of the 49ers, just based off the fact that it was a non-contact knee injury. I hope the best for Allie Watt because this is definitely the last thing you want to see from your rookie. So she tore her ACL. This was her Instagram statement. First game ever, but this was Lindsey Horan's header. She did a great job of getting in on these set pieces and getting her head on the ball. This was just a complete disaster from the Thorns. First of all, that ball didn't need to be played, and then no one could get press on Haley May soon enough. The cross was perfect right to Debinha, who was brave enough to get her head on the ball despite Bella Bixby coming out with her fists. Again, this cross is absolutely perfect, and there was not any press on her at all. No one was marking Debinha, but the Thorns come back. Lindsey Horan with another great header, and Simone Charlie in the right place at the right time is able to tap it in. It was a great goal from the Thorns to come back, but dude, that was phenomenal, but it was offsides. It was another corner from the Thorns. The delivery wasn't the greatest, but it ends up bouncing through to Rocky, who just kicks it over the bar. Again, Lynn gets another opportunity, cuts it back, but her shot just, I don't know what really happened there. This is literally the exact replica of the same goal that was scored earlier. The ball gets all the way down, Sam Mewis makes a phenomenal cross, and Lynn Williams gets her head on the ball. I think we could have seen 2 penalties called, one for North Carolina and one for Portland. I think the one for North Carolina was a little more up in the air in the sense that I would need to see it in more angles. The one for Portland I slowed down, and I definitely do think that could have been called as a penalty. I was definitely underwhelmed by them. I was expecting them to come out and completely dominate this game. Based off of their starting lineup, I was expecting a blowout. I was expecting their midfielders to really control the game and the tempo and be more dominant going forward, and instead I feel like we saw them be more hesitant. We saw them give the ball away a lot more than we're used to seeing, and overall the team chemistry didn't seem as cohesive. I think North Carolina did not capitalize on the opportunities they have. It could have easily been 3-0 in the first half. In terms of their set pieces, they had so many corners. I think it was something like 15. That is insane. And I think it's important to go into a game knowing who you're playing, obviously. You're playing against a team who has a 6-foot-tall goalkeeper and Lindsey Horan. Like, come on, your floated corners aren't gonna work. So I think that was a good opportunity for them to try something new. And we did see that throughout the game, but nothing worked. And that's okay because, again, this is the first game of the tournament. So with limited training, you're not expecting that to be on point just yet. I think North Carolina is really strong in their terms of pressing as a whole unit, and I think that's something that Portland lacks. Plenty of times throughout the game, the first and second half, you can see North Carolina attack in the way that when Portland has the ball, they send players forward and in a position in a way that they keep Portland on one side of the field, which then forces them to either send the ball forward or try to play out of the pressure, and then they lose it. And so that was definitely working for North Carolina. They found the weak side and they exploited that. In the first half, Kelli Hubly was not pulling her weight at all, and North Carolina was like, we're gonna attack down the left side the entire half, we don't care. Their goal they conceived, I think, was kind of a just defensive breakdown. First of all, I think Stephanie LeBay could have maybe had better positioning to the point to where maybe she could have pushed the ball over the bar. And this wasn't the first time we'd seen Lindsey Horan win a header. Abby Dahlkemper was getting beat in the aerial game a lot. But I think in general, although we didn't see the type of feistiness and bite that we're normally used to seeing from North Carolina, they did what they always do. They finish their chances and they win. So obviously I'm sure they're not thrilled with the result and the way that they played, but they do have a lot of things that they can learn from this game and improve on going forward. Portland had to make so many structural changes, not only their lineup, but their style of play given the players that they have. We also have a new back line. We have a completely restructured midfield. So from top to bottom, Portland had to start over. So I think you have to cut them some slack for their performance because of that. But I'm going to start with the back line first. There are 2 major changes. Emily Sonnet was traded, and Ellie Carpenter left the Portland Thorns to go play in Europe. But we got Becky Sauerbrunn from Utah, so obviously we have a center back replacement. But as for an outside back, we had to put in Kelli Hubly. Portland also had to change their center back partnership. Emily Mingus and Becky Sauerbrunn have never played together on the same field. That's an important partnership on the field. In my opinion, I think the center back pairing is the most important relationship on the field because it not only doesn't control the entire back line. It controls a lot of the attack, and it helps keep players in the right position because they can see the entire field. We saw a lot of penetrating through balls that were completely dismantling the back line. That's because Emily Mingus and Kelli Hubly probably don't have the best chemistry on the field. They don't start and play together very often. Same with Becky Sauerbrunn and Emily Mingus. But if you remember, if you've been watching soccer, you know Megan Klingenberg used to play for the national team. So her and Becky Sauerbrunn do have a good relationship. So you can see that on the other side of the field, that chemistry was more developed, more understood. Now there were moments when it was exploited, yes, but you didn't see nearly as much attack coming down the right side of the field as you did the left side. We saw a lot that Rocky Rodriguez and Kelli Hubly were not on the same line of communication in any way, shape, or form. And I think that that's a lot of the reason why the left side was getting exploited, not only because of Kelli Hubly's performance, I thought she didn't play very well, but also just because her and Rocky didn't have a good relationship in terms of who should step to Jaylene Daniels, who should, cut off the passing lane. Should I go forward or should you stay? I think Mark should have realized this, that Kelli was getting destroyed, and he should have switched her with Megan Klingenberg, mainly because Megan has more experience. She's a better defender in my opinion. She can probably withstand the pressure more, but I guess, Mark just wanted to let Kelli figure it out. But I think in general, we cannot let that happen again because that was a disaster. In terms of the midfield, I think that it's tough because again, the midfield was restructured. Rocky Rodriguez, Angela Salem, Christine Sinclair, and Lindsey Horan have never played together in a game, so you can't expect them to be lights out. Now, up top, I was definitely very underwhelmed. Tyler Lucy didn't surprise me. I've never really been impressed by her. I think she's good coming off the bench, but I don't think she's a starter. I think she works hard and I'll appreciate her work rate. There's really no point in pressing so hard if the rest of the team isn't going to follow, because I've talked about this before in the past, but if you have uneven lines of press, it opens up gaps of space in between, which North Carolina exploit. Marissa Everett, I honestly forgot she was on the field. I've never been impressed by her. Yeah, she should never start again. Sorry, girl. In the second half, when Simone Charlie and Morgan Weaver came on, I was excited because I was like, okay, thank God, maybe some type of spark of energy. I think Morgan Weaver did well. She had a lot of good opportunities she created. She had this one rocket of a shot that I think could have gone in. I think if she gets more playing time, we'll see more from her. Obviously, it was her first professional appearance, so Simone Charlie, I've never truly been impressed with her with the Thorns. I'd hope anybody in the position she was in would score, but she was the one who found herself in that position, so you can't take that away from her. We got scored on twice, both off of headers because no one marked. Now that is not only miscommunication between Emily Mingus and Becky Sauerbrunn, but also with Bella Bixby. She needs to say, you mark her, you mark her. I think overall, Portland just looked like they didn't have any sort of game plan. It looked like they just showed up and were like, we're gonna do the best we can, which low-key is a game plan. I've been there before. Honestly, I'm impressed with the fact that Mark was able to string this team together and play that well against North Carolina with the little time they had to prepare. I'm impressed and surprised they held on as long as they did. Debinha should have been woman of the match. Definitely not Lynn Williams, no way. Debinha deserved it. She was all over the field. She was defending, she was attacking, she was taking shots from outside the box, inside the box. She was making runs. Her goal was phenomenal. That header, fantastic. I think she's just one of those players where it's like, she always needs to be on the field. And you might not always notice her, but she has these moments where she's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go score, and just breaks out of nowhere and scores. And she's a player who you always have to keep your eye on no matter what. Lynn Williams. Soccer IQ in the final third is so poor, and I don't understand. In that 1v1 situation, she chose to take it herself. I understand if you take it yourself, you shoot it, the keeper saves, okay. But to kick it over the bar, girl, I don't know why she didn't pass it. Kristen Hamilton was wide open. She always tries to go 1v1 to the goal, which I appreciate that. I appreciate the desire to score. But you also have to sit back and think, okay, maybe I'm going to be provider instead of the goal scorer. I think there are a lot of moments where she could have passed the ball instead, but also in her defense, there was a lot of moments where she was by herself. There was no one else making a run for her. But that goal for Lynn Williams was set up on a gold platter by Sam Mewis. That was the most perfect cross I've ever seen in my life. Right to her head. All she had to do was literally just redirect it and it was going in. So obviously it was a great goal. That's one reason why she's definitely on the bubble for the national team, because she just isn't as efficient in the final third as a lot of other players are. Mewis. Sam kind of just disappeared in the first half, but I think that that's not necessarily a bad thing in terms of it being a holding midfielder. Sometimes that's a good thing because they're making passes, they're keeping the ball, they're not doing anything flashy, but if they weren't in that position or someone else who wasn't as good as them was in that position, maybe you would notice more defensive errors. And so I think Sam does a great job of holding down the midfield and keeping possession, but I didn't see enough of her in the final third. Obviously she had that assist, which was fantastic, but I feel like in general, obviously other than that moment, didn't see her in the final third. Bella Bixby. Guys, this was her professional debut. She played that well. Bella was phenomenal. Now, the commentator said that Nadine Unger actually handpicked her from college and was like, that's the one I want you to draft. And if someone does that, especially if Nadine Unger picks you, you know she's gonna be good. Came in clutch with so many great saves. Without her, we would have definitely lost way more. In my opinion, she was the best player on the field for Portland. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what more she can do. Lindsey Horan is my second best player for the Thorns. She's just one of those players where you just want her on your team because she's just a complete player. She's good on and off the ball. She's good on offense and on defense. She's good at keeping possession. She's good at being disruptive. Her work rate is phenomenal. She's all over the field at all times. She wants to score goals. She wants to defend. She wants to be anywhere the ball is. She's good at playing long balls through balls, but she's also good at keeping possession in close spaces. I think she was phenomenal. I think she was one of the few players who was actually trying to create something and actually go forward and try to score for the Thorns. If she has someone up top who she can feed balls to, this will be a completely different outcome for the Thorns, because I think in the first half she was not working well with the two forwards up top, but I think in the second half you could kind of see her and Morgan Weaver try to connect, but they just obviously have never played together on field. I was surprised that she got full 90 minutes, but she needs to stay healthy because we do not need her getting injured. Kelli Hubly, she was hard to watch, I'll be honest. I'm not gonna sit here and try to sugarcoat things. She would step way too far, which it leaves this space in behind over your head that they're going to exploit. So for example, if they have Lynn Williams who's being marked by Emily Mingus and Kelli Hubly steps really far forward to try to cut the passing lane off of Jaylene Daniels and she gets the ball passed right around her, there's no point in doing that. You might as well have just stayed back and let them come at you because you are opening up this channel for them to play around you. Not only that, but her just lack of technical ability on the ball was genuinely shocking for me. But I just felt like in general her touches were bad, her passes were bad, her vision was bad. She just looked panicky on the ball, like she wasn't comfortable. She was getting completely torn up throughout the entire game and it was honestly hard to watch. Just the amount of times she would get the ball and kick it for no reason bothered me so much. I think Kristen Westphal needs to start in her place. Not only that, she was gassed in like the 30th minute, and I understand you're playing at altitude. I couldn't do that. I'm not gonna sit here and say I could do what she was doing. There's no way I could, but girl, that's your job. I understand if it's like the 80th minute and you're tired, that makes sense, but 30 minutes in, bro. I am clowning her, but I was just shocked. Yeah, let me know what you thought about her down below. Overall, in general, this was the first game of the Challenge Cup, so things are obviously going to be rusty, but that's to be expected. We've seen that throughout other leagues in the world. The first game back from the coronavirus pandemic has been low-key a wreck, so I wasn't expecting this one to be any better, but you know, overall I'm so glad sports are back because I've been very bored. That's all the time I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Stay tuned because I will be making videos about each game throughout this tournament, and I will try my best to get them uploaded in a timely fashion, but I'm doing my best. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. I always forget that. Like and subscribe.